Good afternoon, Savva here from Football Heritage TV. And boy, have we got some updates today. It's gone mental at Tottenham Hotspur. It's gone absolutely crazy. As with always at Tottenham Hotspur, we wait till the last week and then we start bursting into life for signings, for selling players, for loaning players out. We will never learn, but this is what we do. In this video, we are going to talk about Brennan Johnson. Is he really Ange's number one choice? I'm going to debate that fact. Jed Spence is going to Leeds. According to Fabrizio Romano, Jed Spence is going to Leeds on a 1-year loan with a 1 million loan fee. We'll get into that. Hojbjerg, all the talk today and yesterday is that Man United want Hojbjerg and they're going to come in with an offer. This has caused a lot of controversy. My show this morning, there was great debate. Go over and watch that. Should we? Shouldn't we? We'll get into it. And Charlie Eccleshare has come out and said that Davinson Sanchez had a bid come through for him for £9 million, €9 million, should I say, and Spurs rejected it from Rennes. All that and more in just a few seconds. Yes, good afternoon. So we wouldn't have it any other way, would we? Debates, rows, name-calling, all within the Spurs community. Yesterday, I took it in the ear, took it in both ears yesterday about my opinion on not rating Richarlison. Wow, that went down well. Lots of people liking very mediocre players. But this morning, we move on. We move on and we start with the news that Brennan Johnson is Spurs' number one target. Now, I'm going to refute this. I don't believe this to be true. Now, what I mean by this, Ali Gold came out yesterday in his in one of his videos. I'm not having a go at Ali Gold at all. And he said that Ange Postecoglou's number one target now is Brennan Johnson. Now, I'm going to refute that. One, if he is your number one target, why have we waited until the last 3 or 4 days of the window to do anything about it? If he's the manager's number one target and you're backing that manager with his number one target, why are we waiting until now? Who knows? 2, Ange Postecoglou is a very intelligent man. He is a top manager that manages very good technical players. I do not believe that through all of his connections, all of his knowledge of world football, not just European, but world football, I do not believe that Postecoglou has gone, that guy there, he is my number one target. Brennan Johnson's okay, but I don't believe that he's said that's my number one target. I reckon they said, hey, we could get him in. What do you think? And he's probably gone, yeah, that's okay. I don't believe this is anybody's number one target at Tottenham. However, I will put this question out to you. I'm not going to go deep into my beliefs on this. Personally, I think he's very underwhelming as a signing. At 50 million, even more so. For me, I think a club like Tottenham should be doing much better. And a signing like Brennan Johnson, for me, is more what I would expect from a Brentford and from a Crystal Palace and a Fulham. No offence to those clubs. I do not think this is a Tottenham signing. I think this is brutally underwhelming. But that's just me. If the manager wants him and gets the best out of him, happy to be clipped, happy to be told I was wrong. I just don't see it. Let me know your thoughts on Brennan Johnson. Is he the number one target? And secondly, do you think he's that good? I know I'll get a lot of answers that talk to me about his pace, but is he a good footballer? Has he got good output? I'll leave that one with you people. The second player we're going to talk about is Jed Spence. So if we have a look at this, Jed Spence, we knew that he was in conversation with Leeds, but today, whilst I was doing my show this morning, the news broke from Fabrizio Romano to say that Jed Spence is set to join Leeds United on a loan deal from Tottenham Hotspur. The agreement has been reached today between the two clubs. A 1 million loan fee. Player has to give the green light soon. Then the here we go. So the player has to give the green light. Now, let's look into this in a little bit more detail. Jed Spence, I feel massively sorry for Jed Spence. A player that was brought into Tottenham, probably would have had the hopes and dreams on his shoulders of going on to be a top player for Spurs, not being given the chance, Clearly wasn't who Antonio Conte wanted. I'm not blaming Conte for that, by the way. That clearly wasn't who the manager wanted. Clearly, Postecoglou doesn't think that he's going to suit his tactics and ethos as well. And it looks like he needs to go. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. One, would anyone come in and pay for Jed Spence so we can recoup our money? It would appear not. But he's a young player. Could he go out on loan, get some experience and come back and be good for Spurs? All the signs so far have pointed to no, but you never know what will happen in football. So all I would say on the Jed Spence deal, this is a good signing for Leeds United. Is it a good signing for Spurs? A good deal for Spurs? I mean, it is what it is. You've got £1 million for a lone player that wasn't going to play anyway. He's the third player in the pecking order at right back for Spurs behind Porro and Emerson Royale. So it does make sense. So for me, I wish Jed Spence the best of luck. I'm sure we all do. Hope he does well. And what I would like to see is there a buyback clause in there? Sorry, is there an obligation, not a buyback, is there an obligation clause in there for Leeds to sign him if they get promoted? So we'll find out a bit more as that deal progresses to the here we go stage. Now, here's the one that's been dividing everybody's opinion as always. We had massive debates about this on my show this morning. Check it out, the Tuesday morning chat with Sava, where I get very passionate. Danny comes on, he gets passionate. Perchie was passionate. Coover and Nick were a little bit more placid. Man United, according to Sky Sports, are making an approach to Tottenham for Pierre Hojbjerg. Now, some people are saying this, and what they are saying is you cannot let Hojbjerg go. He's the only number 6 we've got in reserve. Okay? And we are losing Papa Sarr and Basuma to the African Cup of Nations in January. Sure. They're going on to say they don't believe Skip is good enough to fill in for those 3 or 4 games they might miss. And that's all dependent on if both their countries get to the final. There's the other side of looking at it, which is, okay, this is a player who is a sub for Tottenham now. And Spurs don't often recoup any transfer fees for players. As a club, surely you need to be making money to reinvest. And through the last few, the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Spurs are good at buying players and not very good at making any money on them. Christian Eriksen went for peanuts. Dele Alli went for next to nothing. Eric Dyer's running down his contract. Davinson Sanchez, we'll talk about him in a minute, but he's running down his contract. And Ndombele is running down his contract. Lo Celso is running down his contract. Lucas Moura went on a free. Joe Rodon, no one wants to sign him, so you're not going to make money there. So I'll ask this. If you've got a player that is, I don't want to say deadwood, I don't want to say surplus to requirements, but he is a substitute player. If somebody wants to buy one of our subs for 40 million, 30 million pounds, let's just say, I don't know, by the way, I'm just asking hypotheticals before everyone goes mad in the chat. Would you sell him? Is that good money to refresh and recycle? They're the words I keep using. Refresh, recycle. All of the clubs that we aspire to be as big as, sell players, move them on. We seem afraid to, and a lot of our fan base would keep him because apparently Skip can't do that job for a few games while the other 2 at the African Cup of Nations. We've got a bloated squad, 33 players. What do you do? So let me know your thoughts. Hojbjerg, selling him, not selling him? Will Man U come with a bid? These are all just talking points, people. These are all just talking points. The last player I'm going to look at is Davinson Sanchez. Big Davinson Sanchez, who's in his 7th year at Tottenham Hotspur. Mind blown. 7th year at Tottenham Hotspur. Charlie Eccleshare today has said Spurs have rejected a €9 million bid from Rennes for Davinson Sanchez. They want between 15 and 20 million euros. Who do we think we are? If he goes, they would want to bring in a replacement in less of a rush to sell now that Sanchez has established what? Under Postecoglou as a viable backup. If anything sums up Tottenham in a transfer window, it's this. First of all, no one's paying 20 million euros for Davinson Sanchez. He's a very poor defender who's had very, very poor years at Tottenham Hotspur. Second of all, this is a player with 1 year left on his contract. So again, like I said about the Hojbjerg thing, are we just saying then that this player's going to go on a free next year and that, again, a £42 million signing is going to turn into absolutely zero money being made back from him? Second of all, established himself. He had a decent game against Bournemouth. Still made some silly tackles and got booked, but a decent game against Bournemouth, and he's established himself. I do worry a lot. We don't seem to be able to refresh, recycle, move players on. It just seems a huge worry for me, and I don't want this guy's backup. I won't go too deep into my feelings. I want to be more about what you guys think. So let me know. You've got Brennan Johnson. Is he the number one choice for Ange? Do you want him? Jed Spence, is it a good loan deal? Hojbjerg, would you sell? Does it depend on what the money is? Would you keep him and risk him going next year for 5 to 10 million with 1 year left on his contract? And Davinson Sanchez, has he established himself back into the good books at Tottenham Hotspur? Why are we not accepting 9 million euros for this guy? Let me know. Really enjoyed this morning. Lots of heated debate. Please remember, people, when you see YouTubers debating, it's all for your entertainment. We're debating. We're passionate. We're just talking about football. Yeah. So let's not go in with the hate. Please like, please subscribe as we climb towards the 11K. And I will be back tonight at 6:45 for Fulham versus Tottenham Hotspur, League Cup second round, a live watch-along. Join me at 6:45 p.m. And as always, come on, you Spurs.